welcome everybody. Team Talk. What is it for? I don't know. We missed last week. We've been missing weeks here and there. It's the podcast that is here. Sometimes it's hard to organize a team to get everyone to come in. So we, we'll miss a couple here and there. And this week we're talking about how we feel after this new ban list and with this new set, and some interactions that happen through the game that maybe Beer and Chris don't agree on. So that'll be a nice fun segment after. But at least on the lighter note with the SS4 ban, I think that's the biggest one. I know Gamma is annoying as hell too, and Sin was annoying as hell, but SS4 is the one that everyone just always see. Like you just the regionals always topping and all that. Now we're finally free. We finally don't need to see someone have 30 cards in their hand in front of us. Maybe if they're playing Golden Frieza, they still will. I haven't seen a lot of Golden Friezas lately, so funny enough. But yeah, I don't know. What's the decks that you guys have been keen on this new set? I know Beer, you probably got like 6, but so far for me, I've been playing Polku, and that's the only new deck I've touched. And my God, is it fun! It definitely, there's a lot of like thinking with having, what do I need to put Polku under? Do I need to bring it back here with my Piccolo, or do I have crit now? Like, it's just like you have to manage a pretty big board state to be efficient in this deck, and anything with board wipes kind of suck. But I feel if you can really put on pressure turn 3 before you go into your SR, you can really cripple your opponent and kind of take the win that way. But that's kind of the only deck I've really hit up on so far. I don't know about you guys. Any picks so far that have been standing out? I know, Chris, you've been going a lot with Goku Black. Have you been going with any of the set leaders so far? Or just sticking with the Goku Black.
Well, ironically, I dropped Goku Black for Android 16,
The
the
new
green
one, huh?
one, which is not the
Ooh,
main set,
that
but
still counts. It's new,
it
brand
is.
new.
Yeah, I think that leader is potentially broken and just needs to be explored more because being able to turn all of your 110Ks into 010Ks without a once per turn activate battle is kind of insane, and being able to have your secret rare 21 be a 2-drop,
Yeah, that's
uh,
true too. Yeah.
and then you have your 2-drop bottom deck barrier, and then floodgate. Like, there's something there. So I've been messing around with that a lot. Um, Still, nothing yet in the main set has really jumped out at me to mess with, other than Green Gohan. I built that just because
I'm still waiting
probably
for
the
the
best
cards to
deck
come in
in the
the
set.
mail.
Yeah. But yeah.
Android 16, that's a good pick. I haven't seen anything on that leader, and yeah, that definitely sounds scary, getting all those 1Ks and having your SCR available like that. Oof.
Yeah, it's a very, very good deck. I've seen like Chris's builds. I faced a few other friends who are doing like very hand control focused builds. It's very, very, very strong. It's very tough to deal with, and it's very grindy. Like, when you're like, oh, I'm just gonna swing for like 30k. Well, to them, oh, you're swinging 30k, you're a fool. 30k to me is going -2 in hand for the 16 player. Like I activate battle twice, I'm out of the swing.
Damn.
Yeah, and then when you put a bean on top of it, and
Yeah.
just being able to have a 30k at any point, just it kind of goes back to those old metas where it was like, oh yeah, 25k is the amount of to combo 2. It kind of disrupts what the norm combo power to make them take a damage is.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yep.
That's what's funny now you're mentioning green, like being grindy and stuff. That's what I felt facing the Cell deck today. Could just kind of, someone made a build where you can go to 12 life running the Android 21 SCR and using that after the final Z Awaken. I'm like, holy shit! That match went on for easily over an hour. Like, it was viewer battle, so we didn't do any time or anything, but 100%, if this was a best of 3, you play that deck, you win the one game, and then that's about it. It's just like Yellow Sin with that kind of, like, how long it stalled out. But the whole fact with you saying that 25k kind of comboing up there like an old metas where that doesn't exist, that's the same thing with Cell 2, I found, because especially being there, activate battle, Cell's Kamehameha, you can activate one of them for free. So it's just like, well, 35, he can get to 35. This, and if it's the same turn that he's Z awoken because I swung into him and he exploded, whatever, And then that's going to be 40. Like, it's just like, or it's just like,
Even
what the hell?
45.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
just like, come on. Yeah.
I do think actually I lost my train of thought, so I'll go to Barrier.
It's all good. Yeah, go on. You didn't mention a deck yet. I know you were talking about the
know.
Android 16 being
I mean,
sweet. What?
just a little more on 16 too.
Yeah.
Though is like the fact that you have access to probably the best counterplay in the game, in my opinion. The one that was made for Surge Piccolo.
Yeah, hidden
Don't
potential.
That
I
is
do
that
remember
is a
what I
good
was
one.
going to say now. It was I think the thing that really sets Android 16 apart is you have your guaranteed ramp on turn 2 that can't be interrupted. Unlike 21 where a well-timed counterplay can stop you from ramping and slow you down. 16 just like I'm going to get to 3 energy on turn 2 regardless. And then just kind of set the tempo from there, which I really liked.
And then having the counterplay that hits 4 or less in the main board that also untaps one at the same time means other blue-green matchups or child's play yellow matchups should be much easier. It's got a lot of upsides to it. It's very, very good. You just got to sit down and toy with it and find the one that matches your play style. Like everyone's got their own thing too, right? You can be more aggressive, more control-y. Chris has a very, very good build in my opinion. He does his own thing his way, and it's very, very good. Yeah, it's a good deck. I'm gonna like sit down later on and mess with it too. For me though, I've been playing a lot of stuff. Like all of last week, like last 2-3 weeks, I have been being practice dummy for the team. Because everybody wants to play Gohan. I didn't build Gohan. I let everyone else play it, let them have fun with it, and I'll just face it. I've been personally finding and testing a lot of different decks just to see what's good and what's not now. And basically, I've basically set up my own personal benchmark. If the deck can beat Gohan, it's worth considering. If it can't beat Gohan, it's a write-off. So that's the way I've been looking at it now. And it's kind of sucky to do that, but like we know that's gonna be the most popular thing. And if you're looking at the competitive aspect of things, you have to always keep that deck in your mind.
Of
And even
course.
that deck has 2 million builds, right? So like, and through the stuff that I've been testing, I'm like, okay, maybe GBT can come back. Trash, right off deck. Like it's actually just garbage. Um, the new Cell deck after all the nerfs, I tried it out. It's pretty fun. It's really really fun to play. I'm not gonna lie. It's not good. It's not consistent, but it is fun. And you can be pretty aggressive. Like you can do some really aggressive stuff in there. I've been able to push people to like 3 life on turn 2 with that deck. So it's got some things you can do. You just it,
Green
it's
Android.
very
It's interesting because it seems like a lot of our beginning set meta is filled with a lot of aggro,
yep.
and then it gets more control after. But
Yep.
it seems almost kind of opposite this
Mhm.
time, where it seems like we're so used to playing more stally decks to survive against Red SS4 that we're starting this meta on a more defensive
Mhm.
mentality, and I think it's going to evolve to be more aggro towards like Gen Con, basically.
Yep. No, exactly. I've been finding certain other red decks. Like I tried seeing how Red 13 feels because people are like, oh, Red 13, Red 13, and I played a bunch of games. The deck's very fun. I don't think it's a bad deck, but it's too fair. Your boss monsters come out when your opponent's at 3 energy. It's no good. Like it wasn't able to consistently beat Gohan, and I'm like it's not for me. But it is a very good deck. I'm not gonna call it bad. It's just I personally don't. I personally am not gonna invest any more time into it. I found U7 to be quite consistent, quite good, but you already know, like I love playing that deck anyways. I know it inside and out personally, so there's that. I'm always gonna put that high up on my own personal tiers anyways. Pan seems and feels good to play, and then um, in terms of like yellow, I tested out the Frieza swap deck, and maybe it's just me, maybe it's just my own personal playstyle, but I found the deck to be personally just lacking. Um, but yet again, I did my litmus test, which is can it beat Gohan, and it can't beat Gohan if they use the new SCR. If they don't use the new SCR, Frieza beats Gohan very easily. But if they use that new SCR, it's too hard to beat. So that's like the interaction there, and it's like, well, It's either they run Cell Max or they run the new one. That's usually what people are going to do, and you don't know what it is until it's too late. So I'd rather not take that chance. Um, like that was the big yellow one I tried. For blue, I didn't play Blue Baby yet. Personally, I haven't built it yet. I'll do that later. But I did have the pleasure of facing it a few times, and it looks good to play. It looks very fun to play. It's a nightmare to face, and it's super aggressive. So it's got a lot of pluses to it. So I think it's pretty good, honestly. And Oob is one of those decks that was able to pass the litmus test. It was able to beat Green Gohan. I think there's a lot of good potential in Oob. Although a lot of people say, "Oh, this and that," it's like, well, yes and no. Because if I'm clearing your grave and sniping away certain cards, such as certain super combos we'll be talking about later, or certain Gokus from people's graves and all that other type of stuff, and forcing it into their Z energy, you're not going to be able to get those things out back in grave as conveniently as you'd think. So there's a lot of upsides to it. To me, it's been proving itself quite well. But like realistically, right now, I don't know. I did a lot of stuff. Mechikabura felt good to an extent, but it's not my style, so I put that one. I put that one down. Other people who like playing Mechikabura, the new cards make it a lot better. I'm not going to deny that, but it's not my style, and it also just yet again, it's like the Frieza where it loses to Green Gohan if they use that new SCR. So it's just like a really awkward spot there. Sprung Zeno is pretty good. But the one deck I've been playing a lot recently, and I've been having a really, really good time playing now, because I decided to pick it up again after like a whole set, is Set 2021. It just feels fantastic to play. Like I feel in control every match, and like I'm a bit of an aggressive player, so it's kind of interesting that I like playing this more slowy, stally, controlly deck. But like I still get my swings and I still get my licks in. I'm still doing what I do, and it feels good. Like it's good against Gohan, especially if you like sequence things in a certain way. They can never get their 8-drop to even swing. It's good against blue green. It's good. It's good against that type of stuff. I just don't know how it. I don't know. I need to like do the Majin Vegeta matchup a few more times to see how I feel about that and the Golden Frieza. That's the one thing that's a little bit questionable is how well can it do against yellow, especially if like you go second and the yellow player holds T-Blow in hand, you're never going to be able to get your ramp off.
I do think Majin Vegeta's gonna probably fall to the wayside for a little bit, but we'll know, right? Because this weekend is the Top Cut event, so
True.
it's gonna be the first in-person one. So I think the in-person ones will tend to be more competitive driven, right? Because they have to travel
Yeah.
to play mostly.
Yeah.
So what do you guys think will win this weekend?
Everyone, like, you think automatically Gohan, right? But new deck that people still could have put a lot of reps on untap and mastered the deck to a certain extent. I think something like Android 21 or something like that that's already been established for a little bit might have a better chance of being up there. Like Gohan, you're going to see Gohan up there, but I don't know if it's going to win. I feel maybe Broly Surge, that might be another one that's going to creep back up there. A lot of those cards work well. I know that the super combo thing we'll talk about after as well works in that deck too. So
I do think it's going to be a blue meta for sure. I don't think the Oob per se is great, but the SPRs of the Oob cards definitely add a lot of utility for blue.
People are throwing those in 3-hon too, the 6-drop or whatever. You pay what, 2 energy for it, slap it right in there. Lot of stuff where you can either go for the high end stalling blue like Android 21, or for like 3-hon honestly could be somewhere up there with how much like smaller blue support that you got with Oob, and then obviously the TP that came out last set that just fits in so well with it that could put on the pressure and make itself like at least like top 8, top 4.
I do know, well, I don't know, but quite sure that we'll definitely see a couple of Gohan, like probably more aggressive Gohans in the top tables. But yeah, I think ultimately it'll be blue as well in the top.
Yeah, I feel like it's probably gonna be blue. I pretty much guarantee. I feel like it's almost guaranteed to see at least one cooler mill up there too in the top 16.
But you're
Uh,
not going. So
oh, you're right. No, but like the deck is in a good spot right now. Um, I don't know. That's a tough one. Like it could be anybody's game. Like Golden could do it. Majin Vegeta could do it. Like they're still very strong. They're not going anywhere. They didn't get hit by the ban list. Um, there's a lot of really good choices.
yeah. Now
I
I
don't know.
think the thing with Gohan as well is any green decks that'll top will probably be enabled by the Gogeta Vegeta combo, and I think that's not a bad thing. So that's
And
to
there's the
go into that
topic.
subject.
There's the
Yeah,
topic of discussion right now. Right before the team talk started, they were going off about this interaction. Like, save it for the team talk. Hash it out. Let's see what we can hear from both sides here about the interaction with the Gogeta super combo. Sorry, Gogeta BR super combo and the Vegeta BR from the, oh god, what was that called? It's not Magnificent Collection, I
yeah,
believe. Yeah, so
yeah.
very old expansion where you can discard the card for an activate main to pick up a Gogeta BR from your drop area. Just so happens now there's a super combo Gogeta BR, so you can technically use your super combo 8 times if you're finding 4 of each of the cards. And yeah, so there's a little bit of context. Now go to war.
Well, I again, I don't think it's a broken interaction, as Green, Dane was able to show that it was good as a surprise factor in Broly Surge. Um, a couple regionals back, he's the one who kind of popularized it, and I do think we'll see it initially in like the Gohan builds and maybe Broly Surge. There's not really too many green leaders that, in my opinion, can abuse it other than those two. But I just don't think it's anything kind of worse than what we've seen in the last couple of years, right? In terms of uh power. So I'll let Barrier go before I
Let's
make a
hear it.
second next point.
So I I feel it should get hit. It's like there's a reason why you're limited to only 4 super combos in the game, and you're not even allowed to sideboard different types of super combos. You got your 4 in your deck, and that's it. Like there's very clear design reasons for that, right? And being able to like get it back is kind of crazy. Now, mind you, Expert 21 does it, right? And it does it in a very, very cool way. And like there's a lot of like interact like sequencing that you have to do, and if you do it wrong you get punished because now you're not using it again. But like, and like, also of course I'm the one saying it should get hit. Meanwhile I have like a deck that has like 16-0-10k, so I'm not like, oh, I'm not trying to be holier than thou in that aspect, but like there's no real interaction for me to just, oh, I have this Vegeta card in my hand. Oh, I already used my super combo. Oh, I have 3 copies of Vegeta in my hand, and I have 1 super combo engraved. No problem. I'm gonna swing with this. Oh, no negates. Okay, I'm gonna super combo. It's in my grave now. Pick it up with the Vegeta. Swing with something else. Super combo. Oh, it's in my grave. Pick it up again with Vegeta. Super combo. Like that's absolutely ridiculous. That with 1 super combo in your hand, you could reuse it 4 times in that turn cycle, and that's happened to me. Like I've literally faced people who've done that, and it's like, excuse me, what? You just you did what? And then it's kind of crazy when you think about it, because it's like your opponent's hand is much tankier now. They're much, I don't know what's the word, chunkier. I don't know. Is chunky? I
So
don't know.
The hand stays at
so
the same size, basically. You're
Yeah,
basically just keep replacing it. You put the Vegeta away, you get a super combo back. That super combo is getting you another card in hand, which possibly could be another super combo or a Vegeta, which
exactly.
is basically a
yeah,
super
and
combo.
here's the thing too is you can only do that aggressively in a meta in a game where every deck has several floodgates for each color. You're also now paying taxes to swing with multiple cards. You have to establish those cards, and then that Vegeta is only valuable in your hand on your turn. So if it's added to your hand or if it's in your hand defensively, let's say what's one of the life that you take, it essentially becomes a dead card in your hand because if you're going to combo for 5, you're essentially giving up, a
That's it.
10k
A
draw
super
one.
combo, yep.
It's red, so it's not searchable in any way in the current green decks. So you still do have to draw it, which could potentially be other archetype cards. It's kind of like a Dragon Ball dilemma, right? Where yes, it's great that it gives you the ability to add cards. It's like those cards could also be better cards that support the archetype, especially with green having access to a lot of great cards, utility cards as a generic color, because it's been bad for so long, right? That they never hit any of these cards, like the Goku 5-drop, the new Raditz, the cooler.
Vegeta as
So
well for Gohan.
yeah, I think it just kind of limits your tech space as
Mhm.
well. It's just another side that I think basically you're trading one for the other, and it doesn't create a unfair scenario in my eyes. But
I'm
that's
glad
someone
you
who's
brought that up because I
never.
was gonna mention about how tight is this Gohan deck because I haven't built it yet. So like, if it's really tight, then those 4 extra cards you're using for this extra super combo, right? They're 4 red cards, so you're either gonna boost your list up or you're cutting out these tech cards. Which that is a fair point where there are a lot of green tech cards. Like, I know it isn't really a unison heavy metal right now, but SGR, really great green tech card. The crit Goku, the at least in Gohan's case, the Vegeta crit, and then just even if
The
we weren't
Goku Piccolo.
Goku Piccolo, yeah. Even if
Yeah.
we're running into a meta where we're not worried about minusing, which, there's 2 red decks that can minus pretty well in the new thing, being Zamasu, which probably isn't going to be in too many decks right now. But yeah, that is another point. But beer, let's hear it.
I mean, I'm not going to disagree in that aspect. Like, even for me personally, if I were to make Gohan, I'm not going to put that card in there. I'm also of someone with the mindset of I'd like to have more options than less options, and I do agree in terms of the cons in that aspect. But the thing is, like, when you're playing the Gohan deck, it's too it just makes it too consistent because when you sequence properly, your awaken turn, like you're swinging, you're drawing, and then you're doing your search, you're drawing, and then you awaken, you untap one, draw one, right? You're drawing one more, and then you combo a card, so you can just super combo right then and there. You draw another card, and then you bottom one, draw 2 more, and then if you sequence in a way where you can get into your Z leader right away on that turn, you can go yet again, discard another card, draw 2 more, right? Like you're never losing out in terms of aspect. You're gonna build up that giant hand, and then it doesn't matter if your opponent has a million floodgates or not because you can power through it and you can push for damage or you can push for defense and you can always sit behind your floodgates, right? Depending on your list. If you're using unison build, you got dormant and the new floodgate. If you're unison list build, you still got the new floodgate and you have other stuff like deflection, kamehameha, shocking, mocking, whatever. Like you have choices. EDK, there's so many, like Chris said, there's a lot of good choices in terms of tech cards for green, and it's just really where you want to go with your build. But like at the end of the day, I can literally go, okay, I'm gonna swing with my Gohan. Oh, you ran out of negates. Well, lucky me. All right, well, I'm gonna swing you with this 45k double striker, burn your life, and you know what? Let's go make that 85k, and then that battle's over, and then we go discard 4 of those, pick up 4. Let's swing with my leader, and then super combo, super combo, super combo, super combo. Draw another 4 cards. And then let's go ahead and use the SCR, make my leader a triple strike. Now you're taking 80k, 90k triple strike. Oh, you somehow survived that? That's okay. Because now my leader is a 40k double strike again. Swing again, 40 double. Like it adds too much pressure in that aspect, right? Where like if your opponent commits to an all-in normally like that, in that type of scenario, like they're not gonna have much left. But with this super combo, you can have a lot of room to like push without actually trading off cards in hand, which ends up giving you more cards to use for your floodgate. Because when you use your floodgate for free, for example, you're going You're basically going -3, draw 1, and if you pay 1, you're going what -2, draw 1, or with dormant you're going -2, draw nothing, right? So like it makes it easier to pay those costs as well, and that's like the subtle advantage too, and that does add up. It really does. Like I faced this deck enough these past few weeks. I'm telling you, the list that like use Paragus versus the ones that don't are not as threatening. Paragus is not as threatening, and it's not as much pressure than it is the ones that use the Vegeta Gogeta thing. I'm just speaking from personal experience. Like I've been
I
facing.
agree. I agree with that. My thing too is
You
I
are right
think
on the defense.
more of like a convenience of, you know, now that the premier aggro decks of the format are gone, people are building their decks for a more mid-range format. So like a lot of those floodgates and like hard negates are definitely being trimmed down because they're relatively dead in a mid-range format. And so it's just more of a, you know, Gohan being able to take advantage of that by creating, you know, an aggro deck to basically again take advantage of it. So I think, you know, when people expect it and it becomes more mainstream, it'll be a lot easier to play around. And I think Green Gohan that plays that combo is more susceptible to yellow than the builds that don't. Like the more mid-rangey Gohan builds have a better yellow matchup, in my opinion, than the more aggro ones.
I'll have to test and see. Like I said, I need to rebuild Majin Vegeta and Golden. I tried extensively with Swap Freeze, and it was good against other stuff, but it couldn't do it against Gohan. But yet again, like I said, it was only because of that SCR. So
But it's
you
so I
may
mean,
have.
the end of that conversation is it's a great card and it's a great combo piece. Is it ban worthy? I don't know. I think I don't think it is personally.
I feel it is, but that's okay. We don't have to agree on it. There's nothing wrong with that.
And the other thing too is like, you know, if they hit that card and then now we have Godly Aura who also doesn't care about the color of the Gogeta that it searches. So it just kind of like you start killing other archetypes to just make something slightly worse. But they might because it's green, right? So
I mean, realistically, they don't need to ban it. They do not need to ban the card. It's a very simple thing they can do. Make it so it just grabs red or blue Gogeta BR or whatever it was, and there you go. It was designed for Gogeta Ramp and red Gogeta BR. There you go. That's how you make it not this degenerate stuff. Although it does suck because it does obviously hurt the green Gogeta BR, or they could do something where
Just
if your
without
leader,
super combo.
yeah, but they could also do where it's like if your leader is a Gogeta BR, yada yada. Like it's still kind of degenerate Gogeta BR, but like this is Gogeta BR, like whatever.
Well,
Like
then that
it's
takes
not.
away from the best deck, Blue Vegeta, promo Vegeta. No one remembers that deck, and it came out not too long ago. I think Realm of Gods, the one that was like using the Gogeta BR stuff as its engine, and it was like
when that
busted
was
until it
green,
rotted.
and you're like, oh yeah, we don't want this to be a good
Yeah, we're
deck.
just like,
Yeah.
nope.
I mean, they could make it where if your leader has BR,
That's true too.
right? Like, you know that alone kind of fixes that issue inherently.
Mm,
You don't even need to color lock it.
no.
Well, only time will tell. Hope
Mm.
I mean, luckily we don't really have enough events this currently to like. I feel like it's going to be really hard to have enough data to ban anything for the next ban list because we have what 3 tournaments for the next set releases. So
Yeah. I mean, Riposte got to get hit though.
so let's all. Well, it is because it got printed right as a winter card. So that's Bandai saying, hey,
That's
we're going to
true.
limit this to one soon.
That's true.
Mm.
I was trying to think here. Anything else to wrap up? Because for me, with this whole situation, I'm on the fence. I don't have an opinion because I haven't been cracked by it yet. So until that happens, then I can figure out how much I hate it or not. At least
Yeah,
from
I
the
mean,
outside, I'm kind of like wishy-washy with it, right? Because I understand where if offensively you can go nuts and you can really put the boots to your opponent and be like, okay, well, I used all my super combos and I'm going to use them again. But on defense, like how Chris was saying, is if you pull that out of your life and you have 2 or 3 cards in hand, are you really going to combo that 5k in hand, or are you just gonna, okay, I guess I'm gonna take another attack? Like, I don't know. It's definitely situational, but I feel it's one of those combos where when you high roll, you fucking high roll. Like,
Well,
you
as
can put
someone
so
who
much.
plays it a lot, it's like if you have critical, if you're putting on a crit swing, it has a lot more significance than when you're not.
100%.
Yeah. The other thing too is like Meki
So-
Kabura does wipe the grave pretty well. Like for me, it wasn't successful, but maybe for other people it is, and that on offense warps the opponent's grave very aggressively. So if they're doing it in a proper manner, it's going to be very hard for the Gohan to be able to recycle the super combo. So there is a deck that is popular. Well,
I got
that's not the
support.
most popular, but it got support and it is a fan favorite deck. Like that one, likely we're going to see, and that in some aspects is good against Gohan. It's just other aspects it's not. But and then the other thing too is and this is the biggest shame is the fact that like they never did anything to buff Dark Broly, because that was another deck that also messes with the grade very aggressively.
They could
And
just Wada the leader.
out of the active battle and the leader just bring it back. Honestly, you'll see Dark Broly everywhere, smoking people.
Don't even talk about the real one that messes with the grave. Truman Salsa, come on. The boys, give him some support, please, for the love of God.
The deck that decks itself out before
Yeah.
before you kill the opponent. Yeah, I'm good.
God damn it.
Well, maybe Bandai will figure out an identity for Blacks that
Yeah.
will involve control like that.
Yeah, it'll be supporting old black decks. That'll be that'll be its identity. And I'm
They're just
fine
gonna
with that.
wait until the end of Zenkai format and be like, okay, the new gimmick is white cards, and we're
Yeah.
gonna make them with black cards. There we go.
There you go.
Racial
Chaos
equality.
stuff from Yu-Gi-Oh.
Interracial decks.
There
Perfect.
we go. Exactly. Well, I think that was a productive team talk. We've been running for about half hour. I think that's good with just the three of us. Anyway, you guys had a nice little debate on this, and people can decide for themselves if they think it's busted or not. And obviously, regionals are gonna talk with if this combo is really like making the Gohan deck just pushing it past the limit that it's supposed to be at. But that's the end. Beer, let's hit us with that outro.
Thank you all for watching. Hope you have a great time with the set. Have a whoever's playing their upcoming regionals, good luck. Hope you all top and get whatever you're aiming for, of course. Shout out to our sponsor Game 3, of course. Shout out to TCG Metals legend, the man himself, Shout out to Rosas in his stream. Kaioken Kards. Ooh, sneak preview.
There we go. Sneak preview of it live here. I know you post that up on your Facebook, right? So make sure to go.
I haven't posted a video actually.
Oh, you haven't posted the video yet. Well, make sure to
First
go
time.
look on the Facebook as well. You can always see the TCG Metal previews on there when he posts them up, and they're always hot, hot, hot.
But yeah, what is it Carl always says? Maybe we gotta get Carl back here, man.
Yeah, Carl, he's on a different Facebook now or something. I got added. I don't know if someone hacked his account. It's something.
Yeah, so
I gotta go
what
pick up my wife.
Stay
I'll be back.
super.
Stay super, right?
He left before. He's smart.